Hello, everybody. I have some news out there that is the latest, and it's pretty frightening. So stick around, check it out, and don't forget to subscribe. I wouldn't say like, because I don't know if you like it, but if you want to hear more of the latest, then you can push the like button for the channel. So, so I'm not going to say, hey, like this, because it's nothing to like. So, stick around. I just got the news, and I know you probably don't know it because the media really doesn't talk about it. So stick around for that coming up.
And now we interrupt, disrupt, and crash this station.
The man fighting for peace, his legacy, truth in a sea of stupid.
Filtered for your sarcastic enjoyment, Ghost Getter.
So it just came to notice. I just came to notice, smack, that we have this shooting in El Paso. And I think the whole point of this is not to only, I don't think it's to take people's guns away like most of the people seem to think. You're conservatives and all that stuff, and you're NRA people. Although it's ironic that it just so happened to be in Beto's, in his district, or not his district, but his city, which is no surprise to me that it gives him more media coverage than ever before to complain and make his case. But personally, I think it's for government control. Anytime they can get a chance to get closer to martial law, I believe they are going to do whatever they can to do so. And martial law, when it comes to martial law, you can do things like confiscate weapons, have a curfew, basically any rules that pertain to whatever dictator or whatever person the person takes over, the military or whoever. They make the rules. It sets aside the Constitution to where they can make their own rules and do whatever they necessary to control society for a temporary time. And it so happens that it's very ironic and interesting that this happens in El Paso, where they have a border crisis. It happens in El Paso, where there's so many things that are going on, and with this area of complaints on both sides, and now we have this interesting area of this shooting going on at Walmart. So it's no surprise to me if you don't hear in the next couple of days the complaint of taking guns and all this stuff, when the focus is basically taken off of that, and the focus is going to be on that instead of something else. Now, I would not be surprised if this is also a ruse to take away the focus on the coverage of the political area, because I believe the liberals, the Democrats, things like that, don't have a leg to stand on right now. So I think that in order to win, they have to buy some time for something. So, it won't surprise me that this is a ruse to take your mind or eyes off of something else that's going on. You remember when, and I'm not the type that really cares about politics, because I said a long time ago, and I just said it on Facebook the other day, that every one of them that has ever been in office has done something to me to take away money or jobs or financially screw me. So I don't really believe in any of them. And I'm waiting for the bottom to drop off pretty soon with our current government the way it is. So I don't think that, and I can tell you something, I've been screwed on since, when I was started out on my own. So I don't really care who's in office, but I know that during when Obama was president, he would always have something, and they always seem to do this, not just him, but everybody, would do something to take the focus off of what he's doing, and the media won't cover it. So I'm not, he's signed so many executive orders, and the media didn't show it because they were so focused on something else. And when did he do that? So this is another ruse, I think, that this would happen. And of course, we have, like I was saying, this is another easy way to commit martial law, just like the situation in New York. And so it will be interesting to see what's going to happen in the near future and the upcoming weeks or whatever to see what this whole thing is about. Because we just had a mass shooting a few days ago. And also it's interesting. You look at the areas where this is happening. Takes a big notch at look at where this is going on and the issues that are going on at the time. So there's a whole lot of areas you can look at while this is happening. So it's no surprise to me. Here's my advice for the week. Take a look at the area around you. Don't just watch the news and don't just watch what they're telling you on the news and what they're showing you in video. Of course, I've always said I'm a realistic person. I'm a person that believes in actions. I don't usually listen to what people say because 9 out of 10 times they lie. So, especially in today's television and radio area. So, I would pay attention to everything around you, and I would pay attention to what you see, not what you hear, because you start to notice things around you that are odd, things that are abnormal, such as when before it was announced that we were going to have a war in Iraq and all this stuff was going on. I've noticed that there were a whole garb of trains in the coming days, a few weeks maybe, that something was not right, something was amiss. That when I was looking at trains going by or sitting at a train stop, whatever it is, about to pass, you would see trains go by that have military equipment on it. You would see tanks, Humvees, things of that sort, cannons, and stuff like that on the trains going by. Now, I thought to myself, that's a little odd, not only because you don't see it just once, but you see it often, quite often, more than normal. And most people will chalk it up and say, oh, they're just, it's just coming from a warehouse or whatever it is. They're just transferring it from one to the other. And that's, I can understand why people would say that. But to me, if it happens constantly when it normally doesn't happen, then I would start to ask questions and start to put this in my mind that why are they doing this? Because it's not a real common thing. And not only that, military vehicles on trains and cannons and tanks and things like that, but also you start driving down the highway and you're seeing semis carrying military stuff that's covered up and so on and so forth. So you start to question, why is this going on? And this happened maybe a few weeks before we had this Iraq situation years ago. So if you're seeing things that are odd, then I would start to really wonder. I would start to question it, not to everyone else or protest, but to your own mind, and start to think to yourself that we are getting closer to something. And I would be a little nervous if I were you, and start taking action and doing the right things instead of the wrong things. Now, I've noticed not only that, but recently I've noticed strange things like people becoming psychotic. Just complete wacko. Complete psycho. I don't understand why. I have never seen such a case of people acting abnormal like I have over the last few years. And it gets worse. Now, you would chalk it up as seeing crazy people doing crazy things every once in a while, but the mass shootings and stuff like that have gotten worse. And I see on Facebook, people and the way they speak, people and the way they act has gotten crazy, has gotten worse. People that you would know for years have become psychotic. They do things that you normally don't see. They act a way that they normally don't act. their character is totally blown away. It's something that you never see before. Most people chalk it up and just take them off their Facebook, like people they have known for years, and they just take their name off of Facebook. They're just acting crazy. But why are they doing that? Why is it that all of a sudden people have become completely psychotic when they normally don't act that way? Something's not right. And I have been feeling really, really suspicious and really not in the best sorts lately. Uneasy. The uneasiness has been really, really bad lately, and there's just something not right about it. To me, it's the calm before the storm, so to speak. And just don't look at things on the surface for what they are. Kind of look at beyond that. And you start to see things that you normally don't see. You start to experience things that you normally don't experience. So you know it's something's coming. You just feel the calm before the storm kind of thing. And it also questions not just you're looking on the surface of why they want to put a border wall up, why they want to close it off with fencing and barbed wire, razor wire, and things like that. But look beyond that, not just because of immigration and things like that, but why is it happening? What do they know that we don't know? What are they seeing that we're not seeing? What are they not telling us? So look beyond that, and you start to notice things. Now, this has been an issue as of late, and I thought to myself, now, people should be looking at this because it's not only this comes out, but you see it mainly in California and things like that, that this is becoming a serious issue. And the first thing that comes out of my mind is the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And is this the beginning stages of something? Is it the beginning stages of something that's about to happen? Personally, I think that this is because we're seeing more of this around, but it's not being mentioned in the news or the media. Areas around Dick's Sporting Goods Park temporarily closed due to plague. According to this, on August 3rd, the presence of plague-infested fleas affecting prairie dog colonies in Commerce City on Friday. And they closed the park down and the games down because of this. And they've been trying to not let any animals or people around this area. And this is just one of those side note things. This comes from Sports Illustrated. Emily Karen one day ago, or August 3rd, on August 3rd. And this is an area where they, just a side note, so you won't get sick. And you see this plague. What? And it's funny, people will not bring this up. They will not say anything about this. They hide it. I even posted it on Facebook and nobody even read it, which I thought is very okay, people, because we're seeing things coming out of California and surrounding places like that with the rats and the feces and things like that, where we're seeing possible diseases and things we haven't seen in over 1,000 years since the Dark Ages, and things that have been gone out of society for decades, but they're coming back. So I thought this was pretty odd, and this is the kind of stuff I would be aware of instead of complaining about things that don't matter. This is what I was talking about. Look beyond the surface of what's going on. And, of course, when it comes to 4 horsemen, war, pestilence, and things of that nature, false religion is one of the big areas I've been discussing as of late, and people have just gone completely berserk out of their minds when I talk about somebody that's being a false or something being false religion or false doctrine. then everybody attacks me out of their minds, insanity, cursing and calling me all kinds of names in the book, when that's not normal. That you got to question yourself: is this a kind of normal that you act? Do you act normally like this? Is this what you're, how you're supposed to act? Is this, to claim that you are a certain religion or Christian or whatever you are, and you're following these people wholeheartedly, and take it as if they're the way, or these people are prophets to you, and yet you act like this? You should question yourself: am I really following the right path when I'm acting this way? Is this how I am supposed to be? So there are a whole lot of things that pertain to this, and now we're seeing this going on. And this is not the first news that I've seen recently about something like this. It's gotten very frightening, to the point where you'd never seen this 10 years ago. So are we at the beginning stages of something? And I think we are. And I would start really look at other things instead of surfacely arguing and bickering and things like that. Because, I'm afraid to even go driving anymore and looking at people at a red light or saying anything to anyone anymore, because people have gone out of their minds. Not only do they shoot you, but I've seen people get attacked in ways that are just, not normal for society, hacked up and things like that, to the point where it's just too over the top. And why are people becoming more over the top than ever before? And I think it's because there's certain forces out there pushing the envelope extremely, because their time is really, really close, and we're getting to the point where it's really, really close. And so when we're getting really, really close, it's sort of like when you're working for something and you have a deadline. You start pushing the envelope a little bit towards your deadline to get it done before the end of your deadline, and you really start acting a certain way at your deadline and becoming crazy at your deadline, and even bypassing things at your deadline just to get it done before the time ends. And I think that's what a lot of it is. Somebody's blasting music in the other room, so if you hear it, it's not me. But anyway, when I've noticed, actually what's been happening to me over the last few weeks is I've been having some really, really horrible, not very common nightmares. And they're more demonic than ever before. And we're talking things that, and I had one just the night before last. I don't know if it's because I've been worried. I don't know if it's because of things that's been going on, but it's almost like I'm being attacked in my sleep, dream-wise, to the point where I just, I've never had these issues in years, not this often, but it makes me really question why this is going on. And I'm hearing stories lately of maybe it's to get me off my game. I don't know, but now I'm hearing stories about these issues in the Middle East, and how the United States and Britain is actually alone without any help from any other country, which sounds it sounds more prophecy than ever before. So we're having more and more of this going on, and now you see the plague issues, and which no one seems to be doing anything about this, and the shootings become more often, and no one seems to really do anything about it. And I'm sure, and you can say all day long it's the NRA's fault, it's guns' fault, but we really do nothing about, because the people that actually own guns that are following laws are not the ones doing it, but the people that have gone completely out of their minds are doing it. And like I said before, people sometimes, they don't just have mental issues, they are possessed, and they are being controlled, and some things are just happening more psychotic than ever before. So I'm seeing more of this going on, and it just so happens that every single shooter has a mental issue. And for those of you that know me, you know, for years I've been saying this, and those of you that listen to my show for years, beyond 10 years, I have said that things like chaos will break out into the streets. The Middle East will destroy itself. I've been saying this stuff for years about things that will happen that we're seeing right now. Things that we couldn't fathom happen or reality are happening right now. And we're seeing it. Plagues and violence and chaos and all that is going on right now. And I've said this. For those of you know that listen to my shows, you can go back to my past shows. You've heard me say this. And now we're seeing it more than ever. And it's going to get worse. This is just the scratch of the surface. This is only the beginning, which is something we do nothing about, something we never confront or attack or try to stop. Instead, we attack weapons and guns, and we complain about this and that it's taking the focus off of somewhere else. And I don't think, honestly, because much of these people get these guns illegally anyway, and they don't do background checks and all this other stuff. They don't go through all this mess. So taking guns away may be something you take from people, but not from criminals. So they're bound to get it one way or another. Our streets are turning into total chaos, drug-infested, things that we are coming down. This world is coming down. This country is coming down slowly. The roads are bad, and things are, you can just see it. Now, people look at it on the surface and they just blow it off, but you can see it, and it goes beyond the surface. So my advice is to check beyond the surface and look inside yourself and think about the things that you're saying to other people. And think about the things that you're doing. You may not agree with anything I say, but is it really a point where you need to become psychotic and vulgar and not your normal character, way out of character? Are you seeing more people become way out of character? That's what you need to ask yourself. And I would take those into account because you never know what exactly is going on. I can't even watch TV anymore with the vulgarity and people, well, it's because you're older. No, we have never seen some of the obscene things that we're seeing now on TV. We have never seen... I mean, as a matter of fact, the other day, and I'm going to say a quick note before I get out of here. The other day, I watched the beginning of this show called The Boys on Prime, and I said, halfway through the show, I couldn't do it anymore because the vulgarity is more extreme than I've ever seen in my lifetime. And so I cannot watch things anymore like this. Anything close. It's not about nudity and it's not about a sexual activity anymore. It's about above and beyond that to the extreme where you got to say, no. I don't know what's going on, but this is way beyond the surface. This is way beyond something that we have not seen ever before. So you got to ask yourself that. Thanks for checking it out, watching video. I hope I can get more people on here because I think it helps others. I'm here to help you see things that you cannot see, or maybe take a look at things that you're not aware of, because nobody's going to say anything. So maybe it takes people like me to say something to keep you aware. And maybe I can help someone out there that might, just one person might. And maybe, I keep saying I'm going to go back to radio, but is it enough to where people will actually listen? So, leave a comment and let me know if you really plan on doing it, if you really want to, because I do more than just 1 hour. I do 2 hours. So, but anyway, thanks everybody for checking the video out and the page out, and I appreciate it. And until next time, see ya. Hey everybody, don't forget to check out Reverse 96 FM on TuneIn, Streama, and now InternetRadio.com.